bring in Chief Legal Analyst Connolly Froese. Before we talk about whether or not he should have been out or not, let's talk about whether or not they have the authority to even do this and what you think of the solicitor's statement.
I'd agree with Justin Bamberg that I don't believe a person that's not elected statewide can be removed from office by the South Carolina State Legislature. I'd agree with that. I've read this House resolution where they're attempting to remove them, but they don't point to any authority, either constitutional or case law, that would give them that authority. So I would agree with that argument, and I'd ask them to support the case law or show me a statutory provision that allows that to be done, and I just don't see it.
In your opinion, Khalif, when you're looking at the reasons as to why they want him impeached in the first place, do you feel like there's enough evidence there that his career doesn't stand alone itself? I mean, in this particular case against the Waxhaw woman, Federico, do you think there are issues there for him to be removed?
No, we just wish we had more time to dig into this. I'll start with this. Looking at the resolution, it says should be impeached for serious misconduct in office, and so in for derelict of duty and breach of public trust. I'd first echo his statements that while I may not agree with a lot of decisions as a criminal defense attorney that prosecutors do, I don't want a prosecutor that's in court making the decision, weighing and determining what the public will do based on the decision they make. I want them to look at the case, look at the facts, and give my client some type of deal based on the scenario, not some secondary outcome that could be blowback from a decision that they make. And so I would agree with that, because that will undermine the justice system and the process. I think, in the best way I can describe it, when I served as the chief magistrate, I served on a committee here called the Domestic Violence Fatality Review Board. And I think that was the best board I've ever served on. It was every committee in Mecklenburg County, from law enforcement, from the courts, from domestic violence survivors, from any organization that you could have that could have touched this person and saved their life, and we walk backwards to try to figure out, well, what could we have done? If I'm looking at this scenario, it's more individuals that touched this case than just this prosecutor. I mean, just the judge themselves. His last deal in 2023, that individual could have been sentenced to 5 years in prison, but the judge rejected that deal and gave him 411 days. I mean, and so there are a number of opportunities that where this could have been avoided, but I think pointing it to the prosecutor that negotiated a deal with a defense attorney is attempting to place blame in Monday morning quarterback a scenario where multiple people could have stopped this and prevented this from happening if they decided to do something in a different manner.
So the chairman of the South Carolina, Prosecution Commission called this unprecedented. A lot of people are doing that. Under what circumstances would a top prosecutor be removed from office? As you mentioned, it's hard to do that, or you don't think it's right if they're not elected, but what is a scenario where they could be removed?
Misconduct. I mean, if you're pay for play, I think it's probably the best scenario. Like, I got clients that are facing, significant felony time. Now on the side, if you pay me $5,000, I'll make your client's case disappear. I think that's a cookie cutter example of, okay, prosecutor, you're now not doing your job, and now public trust is undermined because a case shouldn't be connected to monetary gain. I think that's the easiest one where you learn in law school, where people are making side deals for financial gain that you can easily say is misconduct in office. But second guessing a decision, again, my heart goes out to the family. I cannot say that enough. But every decision a prosecutor makes, like that the one said in the piece, is going to be a tough decision. But if you start second guessing the tough decisions, they're never going to make them. They're always going to say, well, I'm not going to make this call here, even though justice requires that you do. This scenario is bad, but I'm not sure if they're pointing and trying to find the right person for that scenario, because there were multiple times where the ball was dropped.
Our Chief Legal Analyst Connolly Froese weighing in on that for us. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.